Is anxiety getting the best of you while you're on the golf course? Let's transform your game. Hi, I'm Bill with Phoenix Golf, and today we're going to talk about anxiety and some tips and drills that I've used on the course to help with my personal anxiety. If this is your first time on the channel, I ask you to press that like and subscribe button. I know it sounds silly, but it really does help grow the channel, and I can continue to do these videos and tips and drills and hopefully create a community here where people can help each other get better at golf. So I ask you to please do that. So let's get into it. Anxiety, it's a score killer. I've dealt with it for years, and there's lots of books, audio books, websites, everything that deals with anxiety. So I'm not going to go too deep, but I just want to give you some tips that have helped me on the course. Hopefully, it can help you. One of the things that when I was going through some really bad anxiety, it always tends to come from two things for me. It's anxiety is created by the lack of control. And golf sometimes can feel like you don't control where the ball is going. So that makes your anxiety higher. In addition, if you have stresses in your life that are coming into the golf course, which everybody has that when you go to the course, sometimes real life creeps in. You maybe get a call during the round that adds stress. So that can be difficult to handle those anxieties. So for me, trying to get some control, trying to get a feeling of I'm going to put my best swing on, and whatever happens to the ball, I'm just going to find it and hit it. And it's kind of that mentality I've heard from people when I was battling anxiety really bad. They would say, well, just hit it, just hit the ball, just hit it. And that really didn't make any sense to me. It doesn't help when someone's going through anxiety and somebody is getting in your face and just be like, just do it this way. It usually doesn't help. Anxiety, you have to feel like you've overcome those issues and you have some control over what's happening. And just like life and golf, they're the same. You know, you have your up and down holes. Maybe you have a really good day, a bad day, but having some type of control or a relaxing trigger can help on the course. So the first thing for me is when I'm going through really bad anxiety in the golf course is I go out and play and I don't keep score. So that way I don't have it hanging over me if I shoot a bad score, good score, whatever. I just don't keep score. My point is to go out, have fun, and remember why I started playing the game in the first place: to be out in nature, to hang out with buddies, to hit a great shot on occasion that you're like, oh man, I can't believe I made that putt. I can't believe I made that chip. That was my best drive I've ever hit. And just enjoy the pureness that is golf and the game. Because I've learned the lessons over the years that at the end of your life, you're never going to remember 95% of what happens on a golf course, but you will remember the times you hung out with your friends, people you met, relationships you built, and the good times that you had. So go out, don't keep score. Let's start there and see if that can help with your anxiety. For me, sometimes too much information can cause anxiety. So if I have too many swing thoughts in my head, and for me, I go out and sometimes I know I've got 3 to 5 swing thoughts of like, put your shoulder like this, start your knee like that, swing thoughts, back swing thoughts. Try to limit those. I'm terrible at it, but really try to do that if you can, to have one backswing thought, one impact thought. Try to make it easier on yourself, because if you've got too many things going on there, it just makes it more and more, you don't feel like you have any control. So the more you can feel in control and feel like it's not getting away from you, that'll be really, really helpful. So again, not keeping score, and then try to go into the course with not too many swing thoughts. And you can even write it down on a piece of paper. That's what I do. I'll write like 2 things that I want to work on those days. But ultimately, remembering it's about having a good time. It's not about your score, unless you're playing professionally and it's your livelihood. But for 99% of us, it's just to go out and have fun and enjoy. Maybe like for me, I live in a colder state, just to enjoy those last few rounds outside before it's only simulator golf. So the third thing that can be very, very helpful is to have some type of starting trigger. You see multiple pros have it. I know like Jordan Spieth has like a little forward press he does. Some have Matt Wolf is a really good example, and I've actually used his before of that knee kick in. So let me show you that really quickly. It can be a variety of things. You don't want to have a trigger that unfortunately would hamper your swing. So like let's go over what a bad trigger would be. A bad trigger for me is a lot of people waggle like this. For me, I don't like that because I want to feel like my hands get inside before the club head so it can come up in a nice arc. If I waggle and I get used to flipping my club behind my hands, that puts you in a lot of trouble and it makes it really difficult to get back down in that same plane. So that would be my example of a bad waggle. Now, somebody like, Jason Duffner, I mean, he won the US Open or whatever with a waggle that I didn't love. And again, it's a personal preference. If you hit the ball fine and it doesn't bother you that way, great, but you just got to find what works. So for me, I kind of like the Matt Wolf kick in, which is nice for me because it helps me kind of use the physics of an equal and opposite reaction. So I kind of get a little bit of weight moving towards my front side, and then the weight comes back to my trail side, and that's what will help me make a good turn. So for me, when I'm having really bad anxiety on the course, and I'll get to a point where I'm all set up like this, and I literally can't move because I'm just so afraid mentally for whatever. There's a huge block I can't get over that I can't move the club. It's like an paralysis by analysis. So I have so many swing thoughts going in my head, I can't I can't move. So for me, it's trying to get that one swing thought, but then also having some type of movement. So Matt Wolf's is to kick in this right or the trail leg a little bit, and then let that kind of that equal opposite reaction take you to the top. So for me, if I'm really nervous about what I'm doing, all I do is say, okay, all we gotta do is start that knee kick in, and then my swing happens naturally. So finding that trigger can be a huge thing. I even saw recently, I didn't even know this, Adam Scott, who has one of the best swings ever, has a little kind of kickstart move. And it's really subtle, but if you watch it, he takes his toe and he lifts up the toes in his trail foot to get that weight into that heel, and then it transfers to the other leg. So that weight gets moving to the back so he can go to the front. So even there's probably millions of pros who all have those triggers, but we don't even see them because they're so subtle. Matt Wolf's is pretty loud, so to speak, but having a little trigger can help. So again, going out playing without a score, limiting the amount of swing thoughts you have, and then finding a trigger that you can hopefully use to start your swing so you don't get like I do and get over the ball. The last point I'll make is if you're having bad anxiety on the course, just remember, just like it'll pass, just like the holes. If you have a bad hole number 3, you will finish that hole and you'll be able to move on to hole 4 and have a chance. So don't get too bogged down in the fact of the anxiety probably won't be there forever. If it gets really serious, obviously talk to a professional therapist or see about getting some medications, things of that nature. But most of the time, if you can improve your golf game where you feel more confident, you'll have more control in your game, and that'll lessen that. And so I will finally say too, a lot of people when they start playing golf, they feel like I want to hit it straight. That's all I want to do is hit it straight. My biggest advice to that is to learn to shape a shot one way or the other. Get comfortable either playing a fade or a little bit of a slice or a draw or a little bit of a hook. Like find something that under pressure you will be able to hit that shot on a consistent basis. Because going up there and just saying, I have to hit this straight, and you're getting over the golf ball, you're like, I have to hit this straight, I have to hit this straight. That's really not a good thought process. For me, it's like, okay, I normally hit draws. I'm going to aim for that draw. And, that's the shot I'm going to see in my head. I feel like I have some control, start my little trigger and go through. So that'll be really helpful because if you can feel like you have a little bit more control out there, your anxiety will go down. And then the other trick I'll mention too is breathing. I've mentioned this in other videos, kind of for mental health tips on the course is box breathing is my favorite. And that is a count of 4 in, kind of 4 out, pause for 4, back in. So that can be really helpful. That's been, Navy SEALs use that to lower your heart rate. So breathing when you're having a lot of anxiety will really be helpful. So, if you have a lot of anxiety in the course, go off to the side, close your eyes, focus on that breathing for a minute, lower that heart rate, feel again like the world is slowing down a little bit for you. You'll feel like you have more control and your anxiety should subside. So hopefully these tips will help you kind of lower your anxiety, which will then help you hit better shots, score lower. And as you start to hit more shots that you like and you start to lower your score, your anxiety should just naturally subside as well. So again, I'll put some links in the description here, but if you like the channel, if you like what I'm doing here, please press that like and subscribe and help me grow. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.